Hey, what's good, everybody? The Who Dat Nation. It is the one and only Who Dat Davis here for you. If you don't know, you will know that over here we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. And thank y'all for checking out today's video. Before we get down with the breakdown, I just give a special shout out to everybody that checks out my content on a regular basis. You guys make this platform what it is today, and I'm extremely blessed to be talking all things Saints news, on all things football related with you guys. I like to expand my knowledge of the game. I like to become a student of the game from an analytical standpoint. So I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you guys to hit that like button that's over there. I need you guys to hit that share button that's right there. I need you to go ahead and follow me on the Facebook page at facebook.com/stateofblackandgold, because we are still on course to hit 1K subscribers by the 1-year anniversary of the S.O.B.G podcast. We are still on track to hit 500 likes and followers on the Facebook page by this year's NFL draft. So let's go ahead and hit those milestones together, everybody. I'll be extremely blessed if y'all do. And if we hit 1K subscribers on the YouTube channel, I'll be able to put out more quality content because more features will be made available to me. Now, with all that being said, let's get down with the breakdown. And what we're breaking down today, we're breaking down two things. One is going to be my opinion on who the Saints should draft in the first round, either a linebacker or a corner. And number two, we're going to be breaking down the strength of schedule that was just released by the NFL and how that correlates to the NFC South. I'll start with number two first because it's a little easier, it's more opinionated. The strength of schedule for the NFC South is as follows. The New Orleans Saints is projected to be 11th easiest, ranked 11th easiest schedule in the entire NFL. The Carolina Panthers are ranked to be the 7th easiest. The Tampa Bay Bucks, the 4th easiest, and the Atlanta Falcons, the 3rd easiest. So the Atlanta Falcons, by NFL's projections, are officially dubbed to have the easiest schedule, not only in the NFC South, but one of the easiest schedules in the entire NFL. My opinion is the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Bucks have absolutely zero excuses now, especially the Atlanta Falcons. They are in a prime position to make a comeback. Not only do they have the 3rd easiest schedule, the best schedule in the entire NFC South, they are top 10 in this year's NFL draft to top a impact player for their offense or their defense. So they have absolutely no excuses. If they don't finish top 2 in the NFC South, I'm going to be riding their coattails for the next 10 years. I'm going to be looking back at this video for the next 10 years. I'm going to make sure they don't live this down for the next 10 years. And Big Country, if you ever see this video, if your team does not place top 2 in the NFC South, I am going to make sure you don't hear the end of it from me for the next 10 years. Okay, you have zero excuses. Zero. You can either draft a quarterback, or you can either draft Kyle Pitts, or you can draft, another top end receiver to go to your weapon of versatility. Absolutely no excuses, Atlanta Falcons. The Tampa Bay Bucks, you may be 4th easiest, but you still have no excuses, especially because you're dubbed the Super Bowl champs. All right, you have dubbed the Super Bowl champs. If you don't end up beating the Saints as the NFC South champions this year, I'm going to make sure that you don't hear the end of it from me for the next 10 years. With all that being said, the Carolina Panthers are the one team that's a little bit confusing for me. They're still trying to figure out their quarterback situation, even though they just gave Teddy Bridgewater a 3-year deal. I don't think it's going to work out. I really hope it does, because Teddy Bridgewater is my guy. But with all that being said, they still have to figure out everything offensively at that quarterback spot. They have all their pieces defensively because they drafted 100% defensive heavy in last year's draft. But they're still a little confusing for me. Matt Rule is kind of like that confusing coach that just doesn't know what play to call. Just kind of just throws it out there 50-50. But Carolina Panthers, that's the only thing I'm not too sure about. The New Orleans Saints, however, they have a tall test ahead of them. They have a lot to prove. They have the hardest schedule in the NFC South, but they are the 4-time NFC South champions. So they've come up short 4 years running in the NFC NFC postseason. Sean Payton is going to look to prove that he can still be considered a top-end coach without Drew Brees. He's already 8-1 in total with non-Drew Brees type players playing at the quarterback position. Teddy Bridgewater, Taysom Hill, a little bit of Jameis Winston mixed in there. You know what I mean? He's 1-0 with, I'd say even 0.5 or like half a win with Jameis Winston, because he came in during the latter half of the 49ers game. But the fact of the matter is, Sean Payton is in a good position to, really play to the strengths of his quarterback, and that's Jameis Winston, being able to push the ball down the field. He needs to work a little more on his decision making and make sure he incorporates more of the check down to Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Tony Jones Jr., whoever is playing back there. Even a tight end like Nick Van Nett or Adam Trautman, the new tight end number 1. You know what I mean? So the Saints are going to take this as a challenge, and they're probably going to make another run as the 5-time NFC South champions, and maybe make a run towards the big dance if they draft well in this year's upcoming big stage. Now, with all that being said, let's get into number 1 on my list here in terms of who I believe the Saints should draft in the first round. Excuse me. Is it going to be linebacker or should they go corner? My answer is neither, actually. If you have heard of Carly or Maddie over there on Twitter, you guys know they are very knowledgeable women. I've heard a lot of their takes, especially Maddie, over the last couple of days. But if you haven't heard of those women yet, I need you to go ahead and follow those guys on Twitter. So here's my little uplift to those people. But with all that being said, I believe they should draft a defensive tackle in the first round. Believe you me, because there are some guys out there that the Saints can really plug in and they started rotation alongside David Onyemata. 2 guys already stand out to me, and one of them being Big Tommy. I forgot his last name. I'm not going to make a fool of myself trying to utter the last name. But Big Tommy, if you know Big Tommy over there in Ohio State, he is the nose tackle over there for said Ohio State. He benched 225 pounds total 40 times. A grand total of 40 times. That's just shy of the bench press record. That speaks to the guy's strength, and it speaks to his stamina. There's not much film I've found so far on Big Tommy, but what I have seen in terms of film, in terms of games, his most recent, the one that stands out to most to me game-wise is this game against Penn State. Big Tommy can shut off a guard. He can shut off a center. He is able to win at the line of scrimmage. He is an anchor. He stacks them up. He sheds them off, and he plays the run really, really well. And that's something that Sean Payton needs to capitalize on, because Malcolm Brown is no longer with us. He is over at Jacksonville on I believe, a 2-year deal. So Big Tommy would be a good replacement for Malcolm Brown. Another guy that stands out to me is defensive tackle Jalen Twyman from Pittsburgh. Jalen Twyman is the guy who wears Aaron Donald's old number of number 97. Jalen Twyman is a guy that is very rangy. He is athletic. He has a high motor. He can be coached up really well. He's more of a pass rusher. I believe he's more of a pass rusher, but he can play the run very well also. Those are 2 guys that I believe that can be impact players for the Saints defensive line. If you don't know who either of those 2 are, I recommend you go, look up their film sessions, go look up their highlights, and give your opinions yourself. But I do believe that they should draft a defensive tackle in the first round. On another point, that this year's draft is very stout with, linebacker talent and especially corner talent. They can get a corner talent in round 2, and Ifeatu Melifonwu, the 6'3", I think 215-pound corner from Syracuse. That guy is very underrated. He's physical. He knows how to play man coverage. He is very, very agile despite his size, and that's absolutely insane. So there are guys out there that we haven't heard about as much from national media that are really good man coverage players. And that is exactly what Dennis Allen likes in his corners. See no further than Janoris Jenkins before he left, and Marshawn Lattimore, and who I hope is out of jail by now. But at the end of the day, you don't want to draft, first round out of a pool that's littered with players at a quality level, like a corner or a linebacker. They can get a linebacker like Cam McGrone, the linebacker out of Michigan, or Garrett Wallow, the linebacker out of TCU. Guys like that you haven't heard about, but you can plug them in and they really work well with your type of system and what you run, which is mainly the nickel package for the Saints. Cam McGrone, he's a good nickel guy. He can get sideline to sideline. He can get north to south on run. He has really good gap discipline. Go look up Cam McGrone's film and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, Garrett Wallow, he's a guy that's a little undersized, but Garrett Wallow is very, very physical. He's fast. He can get in the backfield. He's an effective blitzing linebacker. He can also kind of cover. You can that's a quality skill that he's a little weak on, but that's something you can coach up. You know what I mean? So there are guys that there are just too many guys that are quality players that the Saints can pick up in later rounds that you don't need to spend a first round pick on. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, I do believe I'm going to swing more to Carly and Maddie's opinion that they should draft a defensive tackle in the first round, especially if they are there. You know, fill that need up, but get younger at the defensive line, get faster at the defensive line, and just get back to your fundamentals of stopping the run. That's what you were known for before Philadelphia blew you out of the water with having two 100-yard rushers with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. Especially now that Sheldon Rankins is also gone on top of Malcolm Brown. You need to fill that need quickly. And there's not many guys in free agency that you can plug in to fill that need now that Jaron Reed is signing a 1-year deal with Kansas City. But that's it. That's all. Those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. What do you guys think? Do you believe they should go defensive tackle in the first round? Has your opinion swayed, or has it remained the same in terms of if you believe they should draft either a linebacker or a corner in the first round? But that's it. That's all. As always, look forward to my next video. It'll either be tomorrow or maybe even the day after. But I'm going to try and maintain this pace as we get closer to the NFL draft that is scheduled to happen next month. But I'll holler at y'all in the next video. Deuces.